What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including WWE possibly dropping a dream main event, Braun Strowman deletes a Syringe pick, is Otis losing his Money in the Bank briefcase, a Raw team officially breaks up, Chris Jericho goes off on social media, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Now let's hit the intro and get straight into the first story. Now our first story looks at WWE possibly dropping a Roman vs Fiend feud. It's bad news for wrestling fans who were looking forward to the Fiend vs Roman Reigns, a match with the potential to become an instant classic. Wrestling fans and analysts alike now think such a match may not happen in the near future as originally thought. After Roman Reigns pinned Bray Wyatt in a triple threat match at Payback to win the Fiend's Universal Championship, the WWE Universe felt it was only a matter of time before the Fiend went after Roman. Expectations grew even more when the WWE introduced Wobbly Walrus to the Firefly Funhouse, a clear parody of Reigns' advisor Paul Heyman. However, that no longer seems to be the case, as Reigns is embroiled in a program with his cousin Jey Uso as the champion strives to cement his power as the WWE's tribal chief, beginning with his family and likely moving on to All in the WWE. As rumors persist that Reigns will face The Rock at WrestleMania 37, there's speculation that they will drop any program between Reigns and The Fiend for now, and that The Fiend may even be traded back to Raw. If Reigns and The Fiend are being kept apart for the duration, what does that mean for Bray Wyatt's devilish doppelganger? The Fiend is currently in a program against Kevin Owens, but it's unlikely to last long as it doesn't seem to have the legs to go on to more than 1 or 2 pay-per-views. They have a hot angle with Alexa Bliss falling under the Fiend's insidious influence, and it's easy to see other superstars trying to rescue her from the Fiend, a storyline that could go on until the WWE figures out a main event program with Wyatt. Do you think the Fiend vs Reigns at WrestleMania will still happen? Could they be doing this for the Royal Rumble? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Braun Strowman deletes a Syringe pick. There's lots of buzz surrounding a recent selfie by Braun Strowman that features the monster among men showing off a superhuman physique. As impressive as that is, fans are more interested in the hypodermic that can be seen on a counter. Strowman deleted the Instagram post but followed up with the following comment, hoping to dispel any controversy. For everyone trying to make a big deal about the last post I did and delete, I take B12 shots every day because my body is super sensitive to caffeine and I can only use so much without feeling like I'm having heart palpitations. Thank you. Now, considering some wrestlers' illicit use of performance-enhancing medication, it's easy to understand why some fans might wonder what it's for. What do you guys think of Braun's explanation? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Andrade and Garza officially split. Now, it's been a long time coming, but word has it the WWE has officially broken up the promising team of Andrade and Angel Garza. PW Insider's Mike Johnson is reporting, "We are told Andrade and Angel Garza tag team is no more going forward. The next question is whether the two will begin a feud on Raw or whether one or both of them will be drafted to SmackDown." Andrade received a solid push during his United States Championship reign, while rumor has it Vince McMahon was big on Garza, seeing him as the modern-day equivalent of Eddie Guerrero. The WWE's tag team policy seems to be more about how many teams they can break up for feuds rather than building an actual tag division. Whether it's the Golden Role Models, Seth Rollins and Murphy, or here Andrade and Garza, it appears that a team's biggest accomplishment isn't winning tag team gold, but seeing how fast they can break up. The way things are going, the only men's team left on Raw will be the Street Profits. Next up, Jericho goes off on Twitter troll. What seemed like a harmless question turned into a social media shitstorm when Bleacher Report recently asked fans via Twitter to point out Chris Jericho's greatest moment in his 30-year career. One Twitter user posted, "Performing at the COVID super spreader Sturgis 2020 and still being a MAGA supporter are among his most recent accolades." The champion wasn't having any of it and quickly replied, "Hi, off, not in the mood today, dipshit." Jericho is celebrating 30 years in the wrestling game, and All Elite Wrestling is hosting a special edition of Dynamite to honor Jericho's 3 decades in the ring. As always, at least one person will rise to the occasion to stir the pot, and in this case, Jericho let the clueless keyboard warrior know how he feels. Next up is Otis losing his Money in the Bank briefcase. 2020 started off great for Heavy Machinery's Otis, as he not only got the girl, but he got that all-important men's Money in the Bank briefcase at this year's Money in the Bank pay-per-view. However, Otis looked to be experiencing a terrible reversal of fortune, as his girlfriend Mandy was traded to Raw, and now his Money in the Bank briefcase may be snatched out of his ham-like hands. According to a recent tweet from WrestleVotes, there have been multiple pitched ideas to remove the Money in the Bank briefcase from Otis and make the storyline a main focus again, some of which are really decent ideas, I've been told. However, and this is a big however, Otis's biggest fan is Vince, so right now, no go. One possibility to protect Otis's briefcase would be to draft him to Raw, where he could have more opportunities to challenge for the WWE Championship and also be reunited with his girlfriend Mandy Rose. But what do you guys think? Do you think the WWE erred by giving Otis the briefcase? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, are we getting 3 Hell in a Cell matches this year? The 25th October's Hell in a Cell pay-per-view is fast approaching, and Ringside News is reporting fans could see 3 Hell in a Cell matches this year. As fans know, WWE Champion Drew McIntyre will defend the belt against Randy Orton, while Universal Champion Roman Reigns puts the belt up against his cousin Jey Uso. Now Ringside News' Steve Carrier is tweeting about a 3rd match, saying, "We've been told that WWE is about to put on the biggest Hell in a Cell event possible. Unless they change plans, we're looking at 3 Hell in a Cell matches. The 3rd, Bayley and Banks. Looking like a very strong card on paper. And never let it be said that the WWE is afraid to give its fans too much of a good thing. Not since TNA's lockdown pay-per-views have fans seen so many cage matches, and here not just any cage match, but a Hell in a Cell. Do you think this is overkill? Well, former WWE producer Arn Anderson does, and he spoke about this during an episode of his podcast. He mentioned, number 1, if you're going to do a Hell in a Cell, my concept as a fan, it means you have exhausted every other opportunity, everything available to you to resolve whatever angle you're in. We have now about 20 Hell in a Cell matches. We've not had 20 historic angles that warranted a Hell in a Cell match. It's not like it needed to be every year. Now they have 2 in one night. Now they may not have 2, but obviously 3, which is even worse. What do you guys think though? Do you think the Hell in a Cell is overkill now? Next up, Mr. Kennedy talks signing with AEW. Ken Anderson, aka former WWE superstar Mr. Kennedy, hasn't been in the WWE since 2009, but he stayed busy since working in Impact, the indie scene, and appearing on NWA Power. However, what are the chances of him appearing in AEW? While speaking with Chris Featherstone on Sportskeeda Unscripted, the 44-year-old explained, "Yeah, maybe. You know, right now, my head's not really there. I'm enjoying what I'm doing right now, learning a new trade. I like to start my own, contracting business at some point, so I'm kind of learning the ropes there." It sounds like Kennedy's planning for a future after wrestling, something far too many wrestlers fail to do, sometimes with grave economic consequences. Kennedy hasn't ruled out a return, but it would have to be on a limited schedule. He went on to say, "But it definitely could be fun at some point. I also don't know what their schedule is right now. I haven't really looked into it, but I don't think I can do a full WWE schedule. I would want to be around for my kids. I want to see them as much as possible." AEW is known for its light schedule and would seem a good fit for Anderson should AEW want him in the promotion. Next up, did Finn Balor end the match early at NXT TakeOver 31? Now, fans who tuned into NXT TakeOver 31 saw a hard-hitting bout between NXT champion Finn Balor and Kyle O'Reilly that led to legitimate injuries for both wrestlers. Now, Brian Alvarez of the Wrestling Observer is reporting that Balor made the call to end the match early. He noted, "It appeared that he called for the match to go home early. If you watched the match and didn't know about the injuries, the finish quite frankly did just come out of nowhere. So they went home a little bit early. I don't know how early, but that's what happened last night." Balor and O'Reilly went above the call of duty by finishing the match rather than ending it with a referee's X sign. And finally is WWE stiffing superstars on WWE Battleground royalties. Last but not least, the WWE's new video game is out, and as always, superstars are wondering if and when they'll get a piece of the pie for their appearance in the game. According to a recent story from Fightful Select, an unnamed WWE performer is expecting a bonus check for 35 grand. However, the story also noted that some wrestlers don't know their status since they are a downloadable character, while others were told they won't receive anything since they're not working under main roster agreements. Consider Scrooge McMahon's policy of appropriating wrestlers' cameo and Twitch revenue. Should anyone be surprised he may be stiffing some on royalty checks? But there you have it guys, the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Facebook for exclusive lists, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.